Hello, and welcome to episode 26 of Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and it's great to have you here with us again. It's great to be back. We took a little week hiatus, seeing as it was the middle of the year, and also there wasn't a lot of video game news, so we decided to take a break. But we're back, we missed doing the show, but had a little, downtime, so that was all. That was good. But we're glad to be back. At least I am. Are you glad to be back, Nick?
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, but at the same time, it was nice having a full weekend back for basically the like. I mean, it's been 25 weeks in a row, right? So I kind
Yeah,
of just forgot what that felt like to be like, oh, I can just wake up and do whatever I want and not have to worry about editing a podcast, and so that was kind of nice.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
but it's good to be back though.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. Like, since we do mostly everything on the podcast in terms of editing and publishing it and all that stuff, it's like it's a lot of work. But we get better at it, and there's less time for turnover. So, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
But we're back. We're back, and it was a good thing, anyways, because there wasn't a lot of video game news. We didn't want to put out an episode of just like random crap that we weren't prepared for. Um, Obviously, with the end of E3 Summer's Game Fest being just for the first 2 weeks of June, everybody kind of took a break, and so did we. But we're back. There was some good video game news this week, which we'll go over. That's the agenda for today. We're just gonna go over some of the video game news that happened the past week and some of the stuff that happened even the week before that. Because even though it was a quiet week, the week before that, there was still some slight news. So let's get on with the show. So the first bit of news on the agenda is something that I think everybody's kind of been waiting for, and that's the release date for God of War Ragnarok. Sony Santa Monica, along with Corey Barlog. Is it Barlog or
Barlog,
Barlog?
yeah. Everyone always
Yeah,
wants to say Balrog because
yeah,
of Street
because of
Fighter,
Lord of
but
the
it's
Rings.
it's it's Barlog. No,
Oh,
Street
also
Fighter.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
Um,
many
but
reasons
yeah,
to be confused.
so they announced the release date for God of War Ragnarok, and surprisingly, which it was kind of rumored that it was going to come out this year, but there was a lot of um, little bit of doubt from a lot of people just because there's a lot of delays for everything. But they officially announced the release date. It's going to be November 9th, 2022. Now, I know Nick was hoping that they would release it November 11th, 2022, so it could shit on Starfield's supposed release date. But it's going to be on a Wednesday, surprisingly. They don't really release video games on Wednesdays. But being Norse mythology and all that, it kind of works into its favor because Odin is his name kind of translates to Wednesday or something like that. I know in Norse mythology. So little Norse mythology
Whoa,
fact there.
where did that come from?
Yeah.
I've
If
never
you
heard of
haven't
that.
read the if you haven't read the Norse mythology book by Neil Gaiman, I recommend it. It's a really good book with stories. So with a lot of the games being delayed, pushed into next year, and all that, especially the major games, there hasn't been a lot of blockbuster releases this year. I can only really think of Elden Ring, which we were super hyped about, came out in February, and then you had like obviously Starfield getting pushed to next year, Breath of the Wild pushed to next year, and a bunch of other big blockbusters that people were expecting. It's nice to see that God of War at least kept the release date to this year. I mean, you never know. Still might get pushed to 2023, but all signs point to November release. Obviously, with how popular and how great the first one was, you can definitely see this one being a contender for Game of the Year. And props to Sony for keeping their word, kind of, in terms of saying that it was going to be released this year, even though it took a little bit. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably do a showcase between now and November to kind of show off more gameplay, see what you're looking forward to, and all that. What about you? Are you excited that this has come true?
Yeah, it's great. So Elden Ring will have some competition for Game of the Year. There's not too much, new stuff in the holiday season, so I think this will probably be one of the few games that I actually buy for the holidays. So, and yeah, we've talked about this before, where it's now that Sony's releasing increasingly more games on PC. I then need to kind of make this decision on whether I buy it now on PS5 or if I just wait to get it for PC down the road. And I think this is one of those titles that I'll buy day one on PS5 because I'm impatient and I'm expecting it to be awesome and perform great on PS5. So yeah, super excited. I don't know if there's. I got to take another look at the release calendar, but like, because I generally like to have like one or two big games that I spend, you know, basically like Thanksgiving and Christmas playing, and this is absolutely going to be one of them. And I can't really think of anything else. So I'm glad it's making it for holidays for sure.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of the news of God of War getting the official release for November. Um, we were going to move on to the next bit of news, which was Forspoken, another big title by Square Enix, big single player title. That was supposed to get released in October, but that one got pushed to January. And Square Enix released a statement. They were kind of saying to kind of free up and have it just be released on its own. They After talking to their partners, they decided to push it to January. And what that basically tells me and a lot of people, I think, is they didn't want to they didn't want it to compete with God of War, both on the same kind of maybe a month apart release or a couple of weeks apart release, which is kind of good, especially if you have a strong partnership like Square Enix and Sony have to they don't want to be stepping on each other's toes. So, Forspoken is kind of a title that is on my radar. I like the combat. I like the way it's looking. Square Enix kind of doesn't really fail in terms of first player single player games. I think it's a good choice. Definitely, it's still on my radar, and I'll just wait till it comes out in January. Do you think this was a wise business decision?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think it. Like I guess that's like partially contributing to it. It's just not wanting to have because that's at least initially Forspoken's a PS5 exclusive. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think another thing is like they just didn't, and this is the second time Forspoken's been delayed, right? I think the first time was more for they just wanted to polish the game. So I think there's probably maybe some more of that. Like I think at least from what I've seen so far, I think Forspoken's more like on the I'm like less maybe as less optimistic as you are, and that actually being a good game. So I think we'll see what happens, but so I think it's more than just like crowded releases. Because again, it's the holidays. Like I think people are buying games, and I don't really think there's that much else other than God of War. So like it's hard for me to believe that Sony thinks that literally only one game is going to be sold during the holiday season, and it's going to be God of War, and no one's going to buy anything else. So I don't know. But we'll see. But I actually just don't think I haven't really seen much to get me excited about Forspoken other than it being, uh, just kind of like a new IP from Square Enix. I don't know.
I mean, I think I just like I've seen the combat. It looks like they made an Avatar game with the power to control the elements. So I think that looks pretty cool. Obviously, I want to see more and play it more, but that's what's drawing me in. Just a new game. A new game is what's drawing me in.
Mm.
Um, but with the delays, like you said, it got delayed once already. I think it was supposed to be coming out this summer. Now it got pushed to October. Now it gets pushed to January. Um, and then being one of the main reasons, I think also with the reception for Babylon's Fall. I don't think Babylon's Fall, it got bad reception, bad reviews. Nobody's playing it. I think there's one person on Steam playing it.
Yeah, there's that
Um,
one person. Yeah.
yeah, and Square Enix sent out a survey to the players to see what they would like different about the game. They might do a complete overhaul. You never know, especially with these games that are fully released. to just get reworked completely. We know it succeeded with something like No Man's Sky, but we know it's also failed with something like Anthem, where they were thinking about doing it, and they were just like, we don't want to put more resources into a failed game. So I'm pretty sure that that's one of the reasons that Square Enix isn't in a rush to release it. So it just works out better for them. And then next bit of news, kind of staying on the Sony production train, is about Sucker Punch. They kind of had to come out and say that they were not working on Infamous, any sort of Infamous content. For those who aren't familiar, is one of their franchises on PlayStation where you basically play like a superpower hero and you have different choices. And then also Sly Cooper, where you play as a thief, kind of like a platformer adventure type game, a la Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, which are mostly famous for developing. They kind of just came out with a release saying that they're not working on any of that. Obviously, with a lot of their job postings that they've had recently and the success of Ghost of Tsushima, it does seem like they're working on part two of that, which it was a good game. It got great reviews. From what you've told me of playing it, it's a great game, which I'll play down the road. But just kind of, I guess, the fans were egging, pressuring them and trying to find out information, seeing if they were working on any of these titles. So they just came out and said it. Kind of different from any other studios. You don't really hear studios saying we're not working on anything of this nature.
Yeah, it was interesting, right? Because you don't see that very often. So I wonder I wonder if we'll see more of this, or and from like I guess it's helpful. Like I guess I like prefer that, where you'll, if a studio is just like a little bit more transparent about what they're not working on, then you kind of don't go down this path of having like unrealistic expectations, or be like being disappointed, or whatever. So I think it's probably a good thing. But and then the other thing that I thought was funny, like I didn't think they were actually working on a Sly Cooper game anyway, but I do find it kind of interesting how so Sucker Punch, I think one of their first big games was Sly Cooper. It was a mascot platformer game. Naughty Dog had Jack and Daxter, kind of in the same genre. Insomniac had Ratchet and Clank, kind of in the same genre, and those were kind of the games that made those studios like in the early days. And even in Crash Bandicoot 2, right? So that was like another Naughty Dog game. So it's kind of funny how all those studios have kind of moved on, and that they're kind of doing like the more mature single player games that Sony first party studios are now kind of known for. So
Except Insomniac, that is still doing Ratchet and Clank, which I love. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, they're still doing Ratchet and Clank, but Naughty Dog's moved on seemingly, and Sucker Punch. But I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. Where I guess maybe the audience has, back then they were like, we need to compete with Mario, and then now the PlayStation kind of has its own audience. It's like a little bit more mature, and they're kind of now building games catered to that audience. So it's just kind of an interesting observation. And I was a big fan of Sly Cooper. Did you play those games? Like, I think there was
I managed to play.
I can't remember how many, but I played at least the first two.
I believe there was four.
Okay.
I managed to play PlayStation on PS4. They managed to re-release like the collection as part of PlayStation Plus, which I'm a big fan of. So I downloaded them and I played them, and I really, really enjoyed them. I think you are right, especially with these three studios, Insomniac, Naughty Dog, and Sucker Punch, being kind of premier studios at Sony, and they do kind of share technology and share tips and all that. It is kind of funny that they kind of moved on from these platformers to these like more realistic action games with Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us, and Uncharted. So I give them whatever they want, whatever time they need. I think it's also a response because the last couple of months on the internet has been kind of toxic, especially on Twitter, with a lot of people just demanding things like, we want this game, we want more information on this, we want more information on that, and harassing developers, which, I'm not a big fan of that. The internet gets kind of crazy sometimes when they got like, they're like a dog when they got a bone that they can't stop chewing. Um, I know recently with the God of War developers, they've been getting a lot of harassment just because a lot of people wanted information on the release date. So I agree with you. I think it would work out better for the developers to be like, we're not working on this. We have no news to share of this or anything like that. Just to kind of be more straightforward instead of crazy people on the internet kind of making up their mind about something and starting rumors and just getting the developers bashed. So uh, props to them. And hopefully we do hear more news on what they are working on, which I'm pretty sure it's either going to be Ghost of Tsushima or a new game, and I'm okay with that.
Or what
when
if
it's
they're
ready.
just what if they're just trolling everyone and they're actually working on Sly Cooper?
That would be the ultimate troll,
That'd be kind of funny.
and
Yeah, I do feel
that
like there's certain pockets of the game's audience that gets pretty toxic and a little, it's a bit much. But I feel like it's gotten worse. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just because there haven't been a lot of big games out there or whatever. But I do feel like it's been getting even worse. And yeah, weren't people like sending like dick pics or something
yeah,
to God?
I think that's
Yeah,
the
like
main
what
one.
is yeah? It's like what? Why? Like because you
Your dick pic is not gonna make a game come out sooner,
like
bro.
part of me. I don't know if I would actually want to do this, but part of me wants to like have like a talk, like a one to one, be like, can you just like
Are you
walk me
okay?
through your thought process of like what is the objective?
Yeah,
How do you think
uh,
this helps? Like, but at the same time, like I
like
actually probably wouldn't want to interact with that
talk to that
whoever's
person.
doing that
Yeah,
anyway. So it's kind of it's just so
like
bizarre,
send me
man.
money or food or something or tickets to something. Don't send me dick pics. That's
Yeah,
not how it works. But yeah, I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad. Like uh, Barlog, he kind of came forward and he was like, you guys need to stop doing this. And I know they did it as well with Double Fine Studios. Um, and the studio from Monkey Island, I know they recently got like a whole bunch of negative comments when they recently did like a showcase for Monkey Island, the remaster, and that kind of uh, was very negative. That it kind of made the creator really sad that he was like, I'm not gonna show anything anymore in the future. I'm just gonna wait till the release. So yeah, stop picking on these developers. They're doing the best work they can under the circumstances, um, and people being dicks on the internet doesn't help. So stop being a dick on the internet.
yeah, that one was. So yeah, Ron Gilbert.
Ron Gilbert, there you go.
Yeah, he. So people really didn't like the art style of the new Return to Monkey Island game, and which I agree. Like I personally also don't like the art style, but at the same time, like I didn't go on a bunch of message boards or social networks and harass the developers. So there's a certain way to provide feedback, and I feel like most gamers choose to not do it appropriately and are super negative and I don't know. So, but yeah, Ryan Gilbert basically was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to show anything until the game's done, and that's how I'm going to manage that situation. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I think it's becoming increasingly more challenging for developers to figure out how to engage with uh, their communities, just because there are these like pockets of people who are just so extremely negative, and it's got to be really like incredibly frustrating, right? Like you're just like, oh, I'm gonna work on this game and it's my creative outlet and I want to make a bunch of people happy, but then you have all these people who are just kind of you know pissing in your Cheerios all the time, and that's got to be a mental drag. So it's a tough one to navigate.
Yeah, and the gaming community itself is like the biggest double-edged sword because you could say one little thing where everybody's happy, and then change that up, and everybody's mad. So it's hard to please everybody, but what can you do? Just calm down, internet. Calm down.
The biggest meltdown I was ever uh I be so you know the Wind Waker reveal. Were you like connect like plugged into like the media, like games media at that time when that was
Yeah,
announced? Like that
yeah, I
was
know that got so much shit.
so I'm just trying to imagine like if that same thing were to basically like happen like in today's world with like all, like I just can't even imagine how much of like a how much outlash there would be to that or backlash there would be to that. So, but what's so funny is everyone was so angry at the time, but I feel like people love that game now.
Yeah, it's like it's as easy as if you go to a restaurant and you see a meal and just wait till you eat it. Don't fucking complain about it before you eat it. But we're not civilized enough for that. But yeah, hopefully the internet calms down. It might be like you said, it's a drought. There's a drought right now of not a lot of stuff going on, so everybody's up in arms about everything. EA just fucked up with that single player tweet thing that they did.
That's
It's
they deserve that though. Like that's well deserved
they did.
backlash. Like that was just such a dumb tweet.
But it's a total opposite of the spectrum because the whole internet community was actually against that one tweet. So it's like, yeah, use the power for good. That's the power for good. Not sending dick pics. That's not a good power.
Yeah.
All right, but enough of that. Next bit of news we wanted to talk about Skull and Bones. We'll talk about it briefly. It's basically a game from Ubisoft, which took the concept from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, personally one of my favorite Assassin's Creed, of the ship battles and stuff like that. And they made a full-on game about it. They just recently did a little showcase to announce when the release date's going to be, which I believe it's in November, and show gameplay. I know this game has been kind of in development, talked about for about 4 years, so it was great to see out in the wild. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to get it just because I did think it was a great part of Assassin's Creed Black Flag to be able to do ship combat and to sing the sea shanties and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think it might work well as a full-on game by itself. We'll have to wait and see. I like I said, I kind of liked it more because it had Assassin's Creed and it also had ship combat. I don't know if I'll like it for just having ship combat, but we'll see when it comes out. Uh, I know you're not a big Assassin's Creed guy, so but I
I
will take
hate
your opinion
Assassin's
on
Creed.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate those games. And then I also read that there's apparently like no Surface Skull and Bones. There's like no story, or so. I'm trying to like understand, what that actually means. Like, is it like what do you do? What do you do? You
Sing sea shanties and shoot other ships.
so
Probably.
maybe it's like I played a little bit of Sea of Thieves, so maybe it's where you just kind of grab quests or hunt treasure. I don't know. So maybe it's more kind of similar to that. But so I think because of that, and because it's been like in development hell for so long, like I'm not too optimistic about this. It does look great though. So I mean, it looks awesome. But beyond that, like there's not really too much for me to get excited about it. So and it comes out this year too.
Yeah, it looks like it's set out for November as
okay.
well. But Ubisoft is one of these studios that one of these developers that always kind of throws out some weird games or just concepts of games every now and then, which it's good. Experiment, try new things. So they might have a hit that, TikTok is full of people singing sea shanties. So you never know. As long
Yeah,
as
I
the
think
sea shanties are good, I think it'll be fine.
yeah. We'll see about that. But to me, it sounds like the game's just going to be like, oh, here's a giant map with 4 million icons on it, and you just need to go around and check all the boxes, and there's no real like that's like classic Ubisoft. So at least with Assassin's Creed, there was like some narrative and
Yeah,
So I don't know. We'll see,
it's
but
a
I'm not.
big question mark. I think for
Yeah,
both of us, it's going to be like a big question mark. Like, is this going to work? Is it enough to make it a purchasable game? Like, oh yeah, I'll pick it up. We don't know. I guess when it does come out, we'll have to see more gameplay and actually, hopefully, it's not like $70 worth.
yeah. Do we know if the bones equals dollars in this game?
Probably, bones equals dollars. The bones are the money.
Okay. I mean, if that's the
Where
case,
do I
then
think you should leave for the
I'm
fans?
interested. Yeah, then I'm interested.
We'll see. Maybe it has an Assassin's Creed game tucked in there. So you would hate that then.
Yes.
All right. So moving on. Next bit of news we want to talk about the Nintendo Direct Mini. Nintendo about a week and a half ago hosted Nintendo Direct Mini where they showcase a lot of their third-party games that were going to be coming out or maybe that they announced. We're not going to go over all of them. Obviously, there's about 15 or 20 games. Um, we'll link we'll put the link in the show notes so you can check it out if you wanted to see the whole thing. But we'll give a little feedback on some of the ones that we are kind of interested in or that piqued our interest. Um, just go a little rundown. First one being Monster Hunter Rise. Nick and I, big fans of the Monster Hunter franchise. Not necessarily gonna pick this one up. On my end, at least, I'm still a big fan of Monster Hunter World. I think it's done great. That's my Monster Hunter for a while. This is essentially just a port of the the Sunbreak expansion is the expansion to Monster Hunter Rise, which also got released on PC. It being a port of the Switch version on PC, I don't think it's drawing me enough to kind of get it. So I'll pile on that. I'll wait for another proper full Monster Hunter.
Same.
Um, and then you got Nier Automata, the Eno Yorha edition. I have the regular edition on PC. Great RPG, action RPG for those who aren't familiar with it. I would recommend on getting it if you haven't. I know it goes on sale all the time, but it's a great game. Check that out. Have you played Nier?
I have it. I've probably put in about, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours into it, and then I just got stuck. Like I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to do next, and then I just got sidetracked and never picked it back up again. So it's definitely been on my list of games to pick back up. It might even be like a Steam Deck game that I like. Just that becomes one of my Steam Deck games. So we'll see.
I'll tell you, it's a very interesting game. It's very mysterious. I don't want to spoil too much because of the way it's formatted. It makes the
I
whole game.
I'm aware. Like I know. I think I need to get more into it, but I'm aware stuff happens that makes it very interesting. I just haven't gotten there yet,
Yeah,
but
stuff happens.
yeah, stuff happens.
Yeah. No, it's a good game. Next one, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, which is from Capcom. It's basically 10 games from the Mega Man Battle Network franchise. I remember when I was like in middle school, there was a cartoon series of this. It's basically the Pokemon version of Mega Man, where it's a total 10 games. They kind of released like a red and blue version. I don't know the names of them, but the franchise itself really beloved. Had interesting gameplay mechanics, so I'm glad that they're bringing this to a new generation and they're releasing all 10 titles. I will probably pick this one up just because I really like. I didn't play all the games. I would say I played like 3 of them, so I'm excited to pick this up and try them out again now that I'm older. Um, Next one we were gonna say is live a life. I always fuck this up.
Nope.
No,
Live alive.
live alive. Oh my god, fucking it up again. But that one comes out July 22nd. Nick and I are pretty excited about it. We love RPGs. We want to try this out. We love the music. If you've been with us since the beginning, we put some sound clips in one of the episodes. I forget which episode. Early teens episodes. The demo is out now on the Switch. I believe you can play the first three chapters. I haven't got my hands on the demo, but I'm gonna download that and get into that. Uh,
I'm just buying it. I'm not even gonna mess with the demo. I'm all in. I think this is
no
probably
try
the
before you
only
buy, just straight buy
yeah. I think this is the only game I'm gonna buy out of this
from
direct.
this
Or
thing.
really probably just for the Switch for the
Yeah.
rest of
Well, I was
time.
gonna
This
say,
is probably like the only game I'm gonna get, but
because the next one I know you're a big fan of for little pressing buttons trivia. The next one, Doraemon Story of Seasons. Nick is a big Doraemon fan, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna get that one whenever that comes out
well,
on PC or something.
no, this game's been out for a while. This is just a
Oh,
yeah. It's been out on PC for I think well over a year. So this is the port to the Switch. Uh, so to me, again, as I'm thinking about uh, cool games to play on Steam Deck when I get that, which should be on Monday, which is when this episode of the podcast will get published. I might actually pick this up because I think it'd be a good. It's kind of like Harvest Moon, and it's those like life simulation games, which I think translate pretty well to playing on the go. Um, so it's just kind of funny how me seeing this in a Nintendo Direct was like a catalyst for me. Like, oh yeah, I want to buy this, but not on Switch. I want to get it on PC and then play it on Steam Deck. Which I think is a thing that not that I think Steam Deck isn't by any means like a mass market kind of device. I still think it's like pretty niche, but I think a lot of people are kind of going through that same you know experience of like I don't need to buy anything on Switch anymore if I have a Steam Deck. Like why would you? So that's me.
good points. Good points. Which, by the way, we'll have our duo Steam Deck review once Nick gets his and he's played around with it for a little bit. So look forward to
Might
that, guys.
might even do it in person next weekend.
Oh yeah, ooh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
The next game was Dragon Quest Treasures, which I know you're also a big fan of Dragon Quest. Um, and that one comes out December 9th. We'll see it right now. It looks like to be a Nintendo Switch exclusive, but with these things, I know they've had the other Dragon Quest games come out on PC and other consoles, so you can definitely expect that to come out in other consoles. Um,
Yeah, I'll definitely wait because I actually do enjoy. Like they're not usually like the best games ever, but I do enjoy these like side games of Dragon Quest, particularly Dragon Quest Builders. I thought it was a great franchise, and then there's a few other kind of Dragon Quest games that are pretty cool. So I'm always open to check these out. We didn't see too much in the trailer, and it just looked like shit because it's on the Switch.
on the Switch.
So it's like I'm just gonna wait, and if it ends up being a good game, I'll grab it on some other system whenever it's available.
Well, the good thing is with a lot of these games, especially being Japanese published and developed, TGS being around the corner, Tokyo Game Show, we're definitely going to get more info and more gameplay and showcase on these. So I'm excited for that. Especially with the next one. The next one being Harvest Stella. It's basically Square Enix take on an RPG slash farming simulator type game. Looks very interesting. I know I like the idea that Square Enix the last with a lot of their games lately they've kind of diverged and done different things to it. Even though they're mostly well known for RPGs, they've kind of taken chances and done different things with them.
Yeah, I'm interested in this one for sure. I just mentioned Dragon Quest Builders. Like this game actually reminds me quite a bit of that, except that it seems that Harvestella is more focused on like the farming as opposed to building structures or whatever. But maybe that's in there and we just haven't seen it yet. But yeah, look cool. Again, it's I'll probably wait for it to be on something other than the Switch, but I'm definitely down with those types of games. So look nice.
All right, and then the next one being the Persona games. You have Persona P3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal. Those are all going to be coming out to the Switch, which I know we've talked about when they announced it at the Xbox Showcase. Those are also coming out on Xbox and PC, so those don't really need to get into it that much. We'll probably just try them out on PC. Um, and the last one, Ultra Kaiju Monster Farm, which unfortunately is Japan only. Um, I didn't see this one, but Nick, I know you saw it and it bummed you out that it's not going to be available in the states.
Yeah, it's the I think in the US the series is called like Monster Rancher, which I've never actually played one, but I've seen them before. But yeah, this one's it's like Monster Rancher meets Kaiju and like Ultraman and all that stuff. So yeah, and I just like kaiju stuff. So I'll see if thinking optimistically, maybe if the game does well, maybe they'll figure out how to get it localized and made available
We
outside
might just have
Japan.
to get a
But
little import.
yeah, maybe. Unfortunately, I won't be able to read anything. But yeah,
There's
I
guys
don't
for
know.
that on the
Yeah,
internet.
maybe there's not that much
And
story.
you know a
I'm
little
not.
bit
I'm
of
not sure.
Japanese.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I've tried playing games, and it's too hard. like it takes me way too long to read things, and then I just get annoyed, and it's not enjoyable. Um,
I
but yeah,
am
that
also
was
not a big fan of reading things too much.
yeah. But I thought it looked cool. It was probably like the coolest new game that I saw, and of course that's not going to be made available in the U.S. So that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, I'll just cross my fingers and hopefully figure out a way to play it sometime down the road.
I'm there with you. It does look like a fun little game. Kaiju's always a good time, always a good fun time. All right, and that does it for our news segment. News of the week, obviously, some interesting stuff. So we'll see what the future brings with all these games. We'll definitely keep an eye out on a lot of them. All right, and we're gonna directly move into closing thoughts. I'll start off. Uh, just finished Evil Within 2. I had played Evil Within 1 on PC a while back. Was able to get it for a fairly small price. I think I only paid like $5 for it. And I also purchased Evil Within 2 right after that. But having the Steam Deck kind of facilitated, I would say, me deciding to play it just because I was finally able to just be on the couch, have the TV on, and I have to be kind of buckled under my my PC and having to be restricted to the computer. Was able to beat that game, and like I said, it's kind of made me appreciate the Steam Deck more. Next up, I'm going to try and focus on Hades, which I also bought on PC, but kind of fell off and didn't finish the game. I'm excited to play that on Steam Deck. The Steam Deck has come in handy. Um, I don't have as many games as I thought I did that were Steam Deck verified, but I know that even though a lot of them aren't Steam Deck verified, you can still play them. They might just be a little wonky. But I'm excited. I think after Hades, I'll do Dragon's Dogma on Steam Deck. It seems to me like with a lot of these Steam Deck games, it's more like games that I don't want to be on the computer to sit for, but if I have them handheld, just sitting on the couch, it's kind of easier to go through them while I'm doing something else. So I'm excited for that. And then I finished watching The Boys, but I will wait for you. I know that's also part of your closing thoughts, so I'll wait for you to kind of start on that so we can kind of talk about it real quick.
Cool. Is that it? Thoughts
Yeah,
closed?
yeah.
That's cool. And so
Well,
you're
thoughts semi-open until you talk about The
semi.
Boys.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, you're calling in. You're not at home. I'm guessing you have your Steam Deck with you. And
Yeah, yeah, I have it
how's
with me. I've been playing. Like I said, finished with Evil Within, and um, about to start on some Hades.
that's great. Cool. Yeah, I think from my perspective, the instead of recording and editing the podcast last weekend, I played games. So that was kind of nice. I think I mainly just played Neon White, so I was able to beat that game. It took me about 20 hours to, and I think initially I wanted to get like all of these ace trophies, which is like the fastest completion time. And then I think there's actually even harder. I think they're called red trophies. So I think there's like an even higher, or you need faster completion time that you can kind of try to beat. So initially I wanted to like get all the trophies, get all these like presents that you can find in the levels, but I think after 20 hours I was like, I'm good. It was
You'll get back to it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I really enjoyed it. I just kind of didn't see. I was like, I'm not going to put in the effort to try to like 100% this game, which is pretty much what I always do. Like there's very few games that I actually like, try to fully complete. But no, I really enjoyed it. It's an awesome game. The really the only like qualm I had with it was like the writing and kind of the story is kind of not great. So like if there was a world where that was like kind of de-emphasized or improved in a way that like the game would, I never want to say a game's like perfect, but it would be like, damn near perfect. Like it's just like a really well packaged game. So yeah, it's great. You haven't played it yet, have you?
No, no, I think I'm gonna, based
I
on
think
the good praise that you give it, I'll play it down the line, especially because it's also Steam Deck verified, so good to pick up.
yeah, yeah. I think I probably wouldn't love it on Steam Deck just because I'm such a mouse and keyboard fanatic. But
But I'm not.
yeah, but you're not. So maybe this is like in your wheelhouse. But yeah, I think for it's like $20 or maybe it's like $25 full price, and I was able to easily get like 20 hours out of it. Like I think it's a good value proposition. Had a great time. I love the soundtrack. I've actually been listening to the soundtrack quite a bit, like when I'm not playing the game and I'm just doing like work stuff or whatever. Like it's good. It's good hype music. But yeah, so wrap that one up. I'm actually trying to figure out what I'm gonna play, what I need to play now. So I think over the next couple weeks. So again, I'm getting the Steam Deck, so I'm really trying to figure out like what's my Steam Deck strat in terms of which games that I want to focus on. So yeah, I have a bit of a white space right now. I guess Live Alive comes out this month. I don't know I can't remember the exact date. So maybe
The 22nd,
okay,
so
okay.
2 weeks.
All right, so
Or
I got
1
a
week.
couple
Yeah.
I got a couple week week or two. So yeah, but that's pretty much it on the games front. And then on TV, I'm fully caught up with Better Call Saul. I think you were casted some doubt on my ability to catch up in time.
No, I knew you were gonna catch up.
Okay. I don't know.
It's just a little. I know it's a little bit harder when you're watching it with somebody else because it's you got to both be on the schedule.
Well, I mean, she was like, I was the bottleneck, not her. Like she was like basically holding me at gunpoint to watch the show. So that was not a problem at all.
Well, aren't
Um,
you glad she did? It's great, especially because the second half of season 6 starts on Monday. So
that's right. Yeah. So we wanted to make sure we were caught up for that. So, um, yeah, it's like the whole show's great. I think we kind of already covered. It's definitely a slow burn in the first season or two, and then it starts picking up. I think the current season's like it's like good, but it's not. I felt like other seasons kind of escalated and got increasingly better. Whereas I feel like with the current season, it's like again like
It was a
good,
big
but it's
setup. I think especially the two plot lines. One being Saul's plot line, and then the other one being Mike's. They kind of they were kind of more focused on Saul's plot line, and kind of had Mike's on the back burner until the last episode. So I think that's what kind of made it weaker. Obviously, I think season five, which is the last season, that one was the epitome. I think that one was like the best one so far. But we still got a second half, so we'll see how it ends.
yeah.
Obviously, we know how it ends because of Breaking Bad and those characters. But there's still some surprises I think that they could pull off. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I think they'll build a lot of tension and drama around what happens with Kim, uh, who's she's like probably one of my favorite characters and like all of TV. Like she's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that'll probably be like the big build up. But yeah, Better Call Saul, all's good. And it's I was wondering because me and my wife were like, are we just like did we just kind of get like burned out on the show a little bit because we've been watching it so hard, and then so it's kind of affirming that you kind of maybe observed the same where like season 6 is kind of flatlined a bit versus season 5, and but let's hopefully part 2 is gets it back up again. Cool. And then the boys. So I watched the finale. Uh, that was awesome.
Such a great season.
It was
Yeah.
a great season. Like that show. That show it's you don't see it often, but like that show just very consistently outdoes itself season over season, and this season was just fantastic. So,
Well, I think this season it worked so well just because we know it was outrageous from the other seasons with the killing the superheroes and all that stuff, but I feel like this season it got kind of more personal with the with the superheroes and the cast members and all that stuff and the actors, where like you saw more of what motivated them and stuff like that, and it made more sense. And I know they deviated from the comic books in a good way, where it's a different path, but it's turning out good. I think it's a lot of those episodes, especially the last one, was such a great episode. It had its hiccups, I think. Starlight, such a shitty superpower to just be basically a light bulb or something. Um, but I think with what they did with Huey and Butcher and Homelander this season, it was great. Like I think it was great development, and it kind of Mother's Milk too, and Frenchie. Like everybody got their time to shine, and I think they did a great job.
yeah, I think I enjoyed the whole season. I felt like the final episode, and I think this just kind of happens when you got like so much stuff going on, and you just need to wrap it up and get to the
Settle it.
finale.
Yeah.
Like things were moving real fast in the last episode, but still really good. Did you watch or did you read the comics? I can't remember.
No, no. I think I'm gonna
Okay.
pick it up now since just to
Yeah,
see
no,
because I it diverged. So I want to kind of see where it goes.
I did a little bit of research on which kind of doesn't even make any sense because I didn't read the comics, but people are basically doing those like, oh, here's what's different, and it seems like there's a lot. So it could be like a good supplemental, content as it's almost like this,
While you wait, yeah.
while you wait, type thing. So I might check it out, just because I enjoyed it so much. And I don't know. I mean, Homelander's like that guy's got to win an award or something. Like I know it's
Yeah.
like hard. It's hard for superhero, themed anything to like, you know, get any type of awards. But like he's just so good.
He is he carries the show well. Just like yeah, his is so nuanced. His portrayal and it's like you hate the guy, but he does such a good job where you're like, yeah, I hate this guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there with my like favorite like sociopath characters. You know, like
The guy from American Psycho. What's
Patrick
his name?
Bateman, American Psycho,
Yeah.
yeah, or yeah, played by Christian Bale. I think uh, Daniel Plainview and There Will Be Blood.
Give me my milkshake.
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
milkshake.
So it's like there's a bunch of other like psycho characters. So like I think to me
Yeah.
he's absolutely up there with like
Yeah. He definitely he
psychos.
should get some sort of award nomination. He's so good. Carl Urban's pretty good too. I've been a huge fan of his since he did Dread. I think he did such a good job. Disappointed that they never did a second movie, but maybe this will bring it up. So who knows? And he's good in Star Trek and other stuff.
Yeah.
And he's British, which I didn't know
No, he's
before.
Aussie.
Well, that's kind of the same thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, but the
Or
whole
no, no,
the
no,
whole
no.
cast
Is
is
he?
good.
Is he I think he's a New Zealander actually.
Well, so you fucked up too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one of those. You know that
yeah,
you get
and
more of a pass saying
yeah.
a New Zealander is Australian versus saying that they're British. So
Uh, hey, listen, if Flight of the Conchords have taught me anything, is that I know there's a big rift between New Zealanders and Australians. So
yeah.
I think you fucked up more by confusing the two than I did by saying British.
Yeah, I don't know actually. Maybe that's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Well, give some awards to the boys is what we're saying, man. Superhero shows are just not for kids.
That's right. Yeah, no,
But
this is not for kids.
yeah. But yeah. All right. So that does it for episode 26. Glad to be back doing the podcast, and look for us on the next episode where Nick and I will be in New York at the same time. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.